not the chair then, and I'll switch it over.
Maybe, but maybe not.
How are you? We compare our red shoes.
Like, what is she doing?
I know. I love accents of red, and I always think of red for Ed. So we were talking about that the other day.
Jake, let me know.
Ready to go now.
All right, I'll call to order the work session.
Very briefly during the work session, back when we had the retreat in February, one of the topics that we had talked about was the deans and assistant principal positions, and we had that conversation. So in your packet, I had provided for you over the past couple of meetings just a kind of draft considerations for this pipeline of deans and becoming assistant principals and those kind of things. So this is some contours of our thinking regarding that as we've been discussing it as an administrative team before we would delve in and really formalize this and have some more conversations with principals. We had some beginning conversations around this some time ago, and then had put that to rest until we could have an opportunity to revisit it. So those conversations and what was talked about at that point, and then members of the administrative team took a look at this. So we're again just giving you some general parameters and our thoughts on this to get your feedback on this. Is this kind of the direction that you're wanting to go? Are there questions you have or some things based on trying to address this issue? And if we kind of have your consent or assent to continue along this line, then we would pull together principals, assistant principals, deans, have that come up with a very final formal process for how this would work, and then bring that back to you. But just I wanted to get this in front of you so that you could see some of the things that we were looking for. So in terms of, being a dean, that you have a record of effective teaching, 3 years of effective or highly effective ratings, have at least 5 years of overall teaching experience, have or be in the process of obtaining a degree in administration, and then the selection of those deans would happen through a tiered process within the committee in the building, and then a second round of interviews by the principal and other staff members that he or she might choose. And then kind of those descriptions of duties and responsibilities. One of the things that we've talked about is serving as the role in the dean for 3 years. And during the 3 years, you would serve in at least 2 different buildings to get experience and exposure to different settings and different leadership styles with the principal that you would work with. And then under the promotion to assistant principal, really making sure the assistant principal job description fits for that role. The rubric for the promotion of the deans, looking again at rating of effective or highly effective, collection of artifacts and standards for success, the completion of a district leadership training program, and obviously the recommendation of the building principal. You may remain an assistant principal if not promoted to a principal, provided that you keep those requirements and those kind of things. Not too unlike what we do right now, but again, the process of when that would happen kind of spelled out a little more clearly. And then considerations for principal openings within the district to be considered for a principal position, that candidates must have at least 2 years experience as a dean and or assistant principal, whether an internal or external candidate. So we would be requiring that there be some of that preparatory training either as a dean or assistant principal before doing that. So you wouldn't necessarily just have your first year of an administrator's license to come in and be a principal. So.
Okay. I have some questions. Sure. But I'll go. Okay. First question is, how are we handling our current deans who have been deans for 3 years?
So that would be the question of that we would come back and have a conversation with you. So as we talk with those folks and do that, we would come up with a plan for how that would work. Yep.
The question.
So, and everybody, can you make sure you speak into the microphone so that everybody can hear?
The next thing I had is, let's see, principal involvement. So are we going to have principals involved in writing this?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, once you have given us some questions, feedback, then we will go back and have a committee, principals, assistant principals, and deans all helping look at this to flesh it out.
And then, in here it says deans will serve in the role for 3 years. Is that just an arbitrary number, or is that for, how is that chosen? What is the thought process behind that?
The thought process is an initial year to kind of learn the position, and then either be in that building another year, or you switch and then be in, so it's like a year to kind of learn the pseudo-administrative role, and then over the course of the remaining 2 years, you would serve in 2 different buildings to have that exposure, so that you're not under kind of the same place or having the same kind of experience, so that you're having that diverse exposure to be ready. So it might be that you could be in a title building versus a non-title building, or...
Okay, that was going to be one of my other questions. And then, I think before, I think the process this came up, if I remember correctly, had to do with, part of it could have been from a financial situation, deans versus assistant principals, but having it clear, what's the difference in the job description? So I think that needs to be fettered out, and what that looks like, to make sure that deans, that because they're going to be on a teacher's contract versus an administrative, we want to make sure what that looks like, but also having, you said in here, having a district-created leadership training program. I think that's going to be key, that we have strong instructional leaders as our principals. We know that's a need, and so I think that's important. Under consideration for principal openings, it says candidates must have at least 3 years experience as a dean and assistant principal. So does that mean 6 years, or should that be and or?
It's an and or.
It's an and, it said and. So
the most recent in the packet.
Oh, okay. Was
that the previous one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I put that.
The one in the packet has an and or.
Okay. Yeah, I think that those to me are key, and I think having, obviously, we're not administrators. We don't know the day-to-day jobs, so I think having principals involved in the process, and I would even suggest having deans involved in the process, because they know what, some of what they feel may need to be improved, worked on, where some of their weaknesses are or strengths, and getting their input would be beneficial.
Yep. And they will help us in the review of the job descriptions and all those kind of things as well.
How many, deans at every school or no?
Deans at every school.
Like, are there deans and assistant principals?
It's a combination across buildings. That Kevin had provided that one spreadsheet.
Right, but I mean, I'm just asking you just because it's like, if you could.
No, it's in many instances, it's a dean or an assistant principal, except in a couple buildings, we would have a dean of behavior supports that might be funded out of Title I.
How do you decide between the need of a dean or an assistant principal?
That's one of the things that we would kind of suss out as we do those job descriptions as to which it is. Yep.
So I have follow-up questions for what they already said. So as far as moving to, in the 3 years, moving to 2 separate buildings, is that a requirement or is that optional? And what if there's not another building for you to move to? Are you going to make somebody else switch who doesn't have to switch yet? So what does that look like?
That would be part of our conversation with the building principals about how that would work. But if we have deans in various buildings, I mean, we would be in positions where people could switch.
So it will be a requirement.
Right now, we're looking at it as a requirement.
So if the dean, according to this, can only stay for 3 years, what if there's not, let's say they get their license to be an administrator, but there's not a position for them to move into, then are they able to keep that dean's position as they wait for past 3 years, as they wait for the assistant principal?
Once we would get to their 4th year, they would be made an assistant principal.
Without, even if they didn't have to move to a different
even if they didn't have to move, right.
So then that's my next question. So if they get moved up to assistant principal, then is that dean position then open up, and then will every building have that same principal, assistant principal dean? That's what I said.
Well, we would have to look at that, and I mean, as of right now, and particularly some buildings with lesser enrollment, we wouldn't have the 3 positions.
So either if they move up and that building needs one, you would fill it, but if that building didn't need one, they will move up to assistant principal and that dean position will
go away. Right.
That's kind of what I was asking about the difference between a school having a dean and assistant. So I was, one of the elementaries, and right now I just have a principal and I have a dean. And I finished my 3 years, and there's no assistant principal anywhere else in the building. You would turn me into an assistant principal at that school, even though that school never required an assistant principal
And not had
before.
one before.
So then what happens to the dean's duties?
The
Because you're gonna have a
position goes-
separation between duties of a dean and duties of an assistant principal. Now, the assistant principal,
It's more a question of not asking too much of the dean. I mean, an assistant principal would take on the duties of a dean.
okay,
I mean, it would basically be, you have,
It's more like the dean is, in effect, the dean is like in the internship to be an assistant
Right.
principal. So they're gonna be learning as they go, when they become, or if a person is assistant principal, these are what the qualifications are. The dean is like in a training program to
Right.
get to that point.
okay, but then, if we're not asking too much of the dean, then in reality, we're asking too much of the principal. If there's no assistant principal in there, do you get what I'm saying?
and that's what,
Like I'm
that's
trying to
what,
figure out, because now we've got a principal doing assistant principal duties, while we're not asking too much of a dean who's in training to become to the next level, but we've layered all of these different things on a principal with PLC practices and different things like
but
that.
that's their job in running their building.
Right, I agree with that, but I'm saying though, like, do you get what I'm saying? Like it's
Kind of, but not, because I mean,
Okay.
how you would use that dean in some way. I mean, again, the description of what the dean does and being flexible with that in some ways, you can get it to work. The main issue that comes in is deans can't help with evaluations because they're teachers, they're fellow teachers.
They can't do.
And if they don't have their administrator's license, they can't do suspensions, right?
I love the logic you're putting behind this.
Uh-huh.
Essentially, she's saying that if there's a principal, we bring a dean in, right, to assist the principal, but we don't give a lot of responsibility to the dean. The principal will still carry the load until we feel that the dean is ready and prepared to go to the vice principal. I think the answer to that is that's going to be the process.
Right, probably trying to figure out, because eventually, essentially, we'll end up with assistant principals at every building now.
Unless those assistant principals go someplace else or become principals, and then we fill it in with deans, right? But the potential is there, like, nobody moves or goes anywhere, we could be in that position.
But I've got some follow-up questions. And I know this is a draft to propose, I just want to make sure I have an understanding. So, in order to be a dean, you got to have at least 3 years of effective or highly effective ratings internally or externally, meaning somebody could come from another district who was taught for 5 years and had 3 years of effective or highly effective teaching. If they come here with 5 years but they don't have that, then they say they have 0, but they want to be a dean. They would need to get 3 years here on top of their 5, so they would have 8 years. Okay.
Yep.
Now, taking the next step, so they're a dean for 3 years. Taking the next step to be a vice principal, they need to have an effective or higher administrative evaluation for 2 or 3 consecutive years. So the 3 years that the individual is in the dean's position, let's say that they had highly effective first year, highly effective second year, but the third year they weren't effective or highly effective, they would have to be a dean to be consecutive, because the third year they were not. So now we got, in order to get the 2 years, they would have to be a dean for 2 more years before they could be considered for the vice principal if it's consecutive.
If it's consecutive.
Yeah.
It's consecutive.
Yeah, I mean,
It's consecutive.
Yeah,
So
so
then
that's
they'd actually have to do 2 additional years.
2 years, 2 additional years, so they were,
And we'll check that as we have the conversations about the process.
that's
but-
what I just,
Yeah.
in my mind, it could add an additional 2 years on when really 1 year out of the 3, for whatever reason, they didn't.
And maybe we had consecutive in there, and I'll have to go back and review. Yeah, I think maybe we had consecutive in there, and then we changed our thinking, so,
Yeah,
but again, that's why it's draft, but we'll do that.
Okay. I'm thinking about just one particular building, they've had a dean for, I don't know, more than this 3 years, they're doing a good job, but they are, haven't passed the administrative test, and I think that building may be getting another position. So in that case, would that person be able to tentatively, I don't know if they tentatively take the job with the understanding they will pass and get their license, or could we hold it since that person has been in that dean's position, done a good job,
And I think that's part of our conversation to get back to Ann's question of what do we do with our current dean, so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to review, like, how long the current deans have been there,
Mhm.
and, you know, take care of them.
Yep.
Apply this criteria.
Right, apply this criteria,
Apply these
what they've
criteria, or
currently been
see
doing.
if someone's in a unique situation like this, what do
Yeah.
we do in that situation? But if we were to finalize these criteria and then overlay that with our current folks,
But are they not passing the administration license because they haven't taken it, or they procrastinating, or?
I don't know all the details, just since this came up.
So would we not grandfather in
Right.
some of these? Because I'm thinking of like a scenario where, you know, we had a dean who became a principal, was not an assistant principal, and yet we've got deans, who have been deans for
I think
multiple years
I
and
think
haven't
this is
become an
what-
assistant, and haven't become an assistant. So that's, I think, making sure that,
yeah,
how we deal with that.
Take care of
then
that.
we would take care of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes back to your first
Can
question.
you
Yeah.
say that
Yeah.
again, Steve?
That if there was somebody who has been a dean and then became a principal, we've got people who have been deans for some time who haven't become an assistant principal or principal. So once these criteria were developed, if we look at our current people, which of those people could be moved to assistant principals?
Because they've already done
Because
all of these
they've
tasks.
done all of this.
Oh,
Yeah, so they've already, like, completed their 3 years, they're highly effective, they have an administration license, but they haven't been moved up
To the assistant
to the
principal.
assistant principal.
I also think you need to put some language for unique circumstances for sure on a lot of things. Like, for instance, like if you have somebody that's shored up and there's a unique situation where all of a sudden the principal's not there, but you know that that person could go there without having that other stuff, are you gonna have to look elsewhere among the district for who has actually put that time in order to move them in that principal position? Or because that assistant principal's uniquely situated with that building, it might make more sense. So I just think to make sure it's not super hard and fast, that there has to be a little wiggle room on unique circumstances. I understand why we want to do it in a way that is very kind of regulated now, and everybody knows what the tiers are and how they get there. But I just also think there's just things that happen, and I want to make sure that we're not like going to do rules over reason thing. So.
for the continuation of that scenario, I guess in here it says the dean will be moved back to the classroom. Is that just because they would not be performing well, or is it just because,
Yeah, right.
just because they're not, because the 3 years is up?
No,
there?
because they haven't been successful.
It may not be deemed material.
If they're not recommended
Well,
for,
because, yeah,
because it says at the end of the 3 years, if a dean is not recommended for promotion to assistant principal, the dean will be recommended for return to the classroom.
and,
So I've completed my 3 years as a dean. My path is I become an assistant principal, or I haven't been successful, and as a teacher role, I return to the classroom.
who determines that then? Like, how does that get determined? That's the
Well, in district leadership.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, so it wouldn't just end up being they were effective, but the personalities didn't match.
No, I mean,
Okay.
it would have to be rooted in evaluation results,
Okay.
yeah. Anything else? Do want to allow you some time to go mingle and chat with folks.
Yeah.
Before we do that.
Thank you.
wants to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Troy, do you want to read the Elkhart Promise?
I would. The Elkhart Promise. Every student is known by name, challenged, and supported by highly effective staff, and in partnership with the community will graduate career, college-ready, and life-ready.
Thank you. We have an invitation to speak protocol. Dora has the half white sheets. Just make sure you fill them out completely and turn them in, and you'll have 3 minutes at the end of the meeting to speak. Moment of silence.
Yes, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jayla Parker. I'm currently a senior at Elkhart High School, and I'm so happy to be graduating soon. I can't wait to start college this fall. I will be attending Grace College on a full tuition scholarship. I will be majoring in accounting and minoring in business management, but that's enough about me. So tonight I want to share with all of you about something that is going on at school. So this was an amazing idea proposed by National Honor Society, who are a wonderful group of students, which I'm honored to be president of. This is truly a tremendous group, and I'm proud to be a leader to them. At Elkhart High School, we are posting positivities. In the main campus, ECI building, and Health and Public Safety building, we have posters to help spread positivity and kindness throughout the school. By each poster, there are sticky notes on a table, and on those sticky notes, students can write words, kind words to others. Also, there are thank you cards as well, which these thank you cards, students can write to other students and staff who have helped them through hard times or have helped them with homework or life in general. Then these cards are delivered to the recipient on who they've been written to. This is a great opportunity for students who have come together and know that they are supported by many other students who they see every day. A student having a bad day could walk past the positivity poster and see the kind words from others, which can ultimately make their day 100 times better. This is truly a good way to bring people together, and this is such a great opportunity for students. Also, I want to wish good luck to the girls tennis team, boys golf, JV and varsity baseball, JV and varsity softball, the unified track team, and boys lacrosse team as they play tomorrow and support Elkhart High Go Lions. Lastly, I want to thank all the teachers and staff and administrators for all their hard work and dedication during these new merger times. As it was a huge transition, bringing both schools together, you have all done a tremendous job. And someone who I want to give a shout out to tonight is Mr. Miller, aka Milla, all the students call him. He is so awesome in what he does, helping out National Honor Society, SSAC, and being a track coach, as well as an assistant football coach, but as well as helping students in need, just to name a few. Students know if they need something, they can go to Mr. Miller because he will do his very best to help him. Miller goes above and beyond for his students. We are always thankful for him. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you for that presentation. That's awesome, the work you do. So we have another special recognition. We are recognizing Teacher of the Year, and we're going to have the Director of HR, Maggie, come and do that presentation.
Thank you. I would like to start off by just saying thank you to every one of you who is here tonight to help us honor our teachers as well as our retired staff. And I couldn't be happier to be able to have the opportunity for all of us to be serving today. I know that in previous years we had not been able to have such a celebration due to COVID, but I'm so glad that now we have the opportunity to be here and celebrate you and just thank you for all the wonderful work that you've done. So tonight we do have a couple of categories that we want to recognize, and we're going to go ahead and get started with our Teachers of the Year that were recognized by buildings. And no one person has a greater impact on education of a child than does a teacher who creates and cultivates a learning environment for students to thrive. Albert Einstein said, It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy and creativity and expression and knowledge. Each and every one of our teachers who have been nominated by their peers to be honored and celebrated today are true testaments to that statement. So please join me in recognizing our Teachers of the Year. And we're going to go ahead and call you by name. If I may kindly come up, Dr. Talheimer will provide you with your award, and we can go ahead and take a picture at this time if you like, or if you'd like to say some words. So we are going to go ahead and get started with our very first teacher for tonight. We're going to go ahead and have Alexandra Cuffrey from Beardsley Elementary. Congratulations. Maria Castilazo from Mary Beth Elementary. Congratulations, Maria.
Nobody wants to say anything? We want to hear from you.
Elizabeth Gingrich from Bristol Elementary. Michelle Cruzmeyer, Cleveland Elementary. Luann Van Kirk, Mary Daly. Kimberly Haas, Eastwood Elementary.
You make sure you smile.
Joanna Rosenberg, Mary Keeton. Congratulations. Amy Kindig, Hawthorne Absolutely. My voice is beautiful. I wanted to thank everyone tonight from my school who came and my family who came to support me. And I wanted to say how honored I am to be the Teacher of the Year for Hawthorne pre-K through 6. And I want to say that every person in my school is for support. We are a team, we're a family, and we all earned this. Thank you. Mary Lehman, Monger Elementary. Jody Smith, Oslo Elementary. I'm a talker, but I won't take long. I just want to thank my friends, my staff, and everyone in our building, everyone in this room, everyone in all of our schools, your positions. We all do the job for reasons other than class and other than many of the things. So, for the students. Wendy Armour, Pinewood Elementary. Do we have anyone from Pinewood that would be able to take her award for her? I know Wendy. Thank you. Thank you, so appreciate it. Sarah Probach from Riverview Elementary. Now, I am certain that you may have not seen this before because typically when we do Teacher of the Year, it means that there is a single person that comes up front and receives an award and is recognized. This is the first year that I would like to say that for Roosevelt Elementary, the entire staff nominated the entire staff.
That's cool.
In this particular case, we will be honoring the entire staff of Roosevelt Elementary. Do we have a representative from Roosevelt? We'll make sure that Roosevelt All right. Amy Richardson, Woodland Elementary. Jamie Engen, Pride Academy. All right, now we're going to recognize our secondary Teacher of the Year. Betsy Teepee, Northside Middle School. Amanda Davis, Pierre Moran Middle School. I do hear that Mrs. Davis has a fan club, and I'm very glad they're watching online. Kat O'Brien, Westside Middle School. Mr. O'Brien was not able to join us today, but he does send his regards and his appreciation for the recognition that his team certainly brought forth. Lori Holt, Elkhart High School. Honor at a track meet, so she said she's still pleased to have it done yet. Any words?
She would represent herself well. I know she would talk about being the first teacher there for Elkhart High School, like all in. So it's a big deal. We gave her the award. Her daughter was there in the office. It was a really cool opportunity. She's a fantastic special ed teacher. Thank you.
Tracy Pankran, Elkhart Career Center. Robin Almontery, Elkhart Academy. Thank you. Now, as you know, we do select a Teacher of the Year for elementary and then a Teacher of the Year for secondary. And at this moment, I'm going to go ahead and announce the winner for the Teacher of the Year for the elementary. I wish we had drum roll. All right, and if I can have that same drum
Nice job.
So I would like to have everyone just say a big thank you to our teachers. Let's give them a big round of applause. We're going to pivot just a little bit. So we're honoring our current Teachers of the Year, but we don't want to overlook our teachers who have been with us and have since retired. So at this point, I would like also for you to welcome and help me recognize our retired Teachers of the Year. So a teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. At this time, we would like to thank the following individuals to the students and families of Elkhart Community Schools. Combined years of service between our retirees this evening, 121 years of education. All right. So if I may have Daniel Burton, Band Director, Tim Moran, 17.
What a loss for us.
All right, Mr. Burton.
Way to go, Dan. We also need to thank Dave Hicks for how many of our children he taught to drive. One of which still gets committee tickets, Dave, so we need to talk later.
I got today, so I can go.
Oh, no, there you go.
Denise Rudenhauer, grade 5, Hawthorne, 19 years. Catherine Freehaver, Art, Tim Moran, you ready for this? 32 years. The next person, Tamara Ovendorf, CAP coordinator at Pace, 32 years. Thank you very much for all of your years of service. The impact that you made to the students is one that one cannot mention immediately, but it's a life, it's just life skill that you're teaching them. And just that impact that you have is something that there's no words to describe. So we just want to say thank you for the hard work and the dedication that you have served with our community schools. So now, the moment that everyone has been waiting for our Teachers of the Year.
Should we start now or no?
Not yet. Oh, no.
Okay.
We'll go to it.
The music, Amy.
It has been said that education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. This year's Teacher of the Year has certainly proven that to be true. This teacher continues to inspire students and challenge them to reach greater heights. This teacher's insightful manner has helped her find the natural curiosity inside each student and cultivate it. For the last 19 years, This teacher has demonstrated commitment, dedication, and passion for her teaching. Her main focus is helping students become the best version of themselves. Please join me in recognizing and celebrating this year's Teacher of the Year, Kimberly Hoff. Thank you. If I can just have one final round of applause for every educator that is here in this room who has made such an impact in the lives of all the students. We could not do what we do without you who are in the classroom and who are educating and who are cultivating the hearts and the minds of those students. So thank you for all the work that you do.
Do any of the board members want to make comment before we move on?
I meant to also say about David, thank you for all of our children that you coach for years and mentor. And Kim Haas, everybody, congratulations. This is absolutely amazing. It's overwhelming when you get to see like how your peers feel outside of like how all the children feel, but it's very exciting and to just not say anything specific about one school, but to have the honor of walking the hallways and doing fundraisers and different things for who happened to win the Teacher of the Year. It's very impressive to see what our school has. The public see the great gifts that we actually have, even through all of the negative things that we've experienced in the last year. We are much more blessed than what we usually know. So congratulations.
And I would just like to thank all of you. We have incredible staff. Our Teachers of the Year are a testament to that. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for everything you do every single day for our kids. And at the end of the day, it's about our kids, and the influence and the impact that you have in their lives is life-changing and incredible. So thank you so much.
A couple things. I'd like to thank all the retirees and also the Teacher of the Year award, and also any other instructor in the room here. But a person with 32 years, I think, should really come to the podium and speak for 32 minutes, to impart some final wisdom and knowledge on teaching, and then also, any other retiree would fit the bill too. Then. Also, any of you retirees, I'd also like to recruit you for next fall's, next semester. The fall semester, come fill in,
Substitute.
Yes. The marketing. We have good benefit. Thank you.
That was genius.
Mr. Marketing. No, I would just like to say that, I truly understand the commitment that each teacher has. My mother was a teacher for 40 years. It changed. I saw it change while she was teaching. It's changed dramatically probably in the last 10, the last 5, the last 2. You guys get up every day with all the changes. Everything is thrown at you with the commitment and drive to do what you do. I think it was best said tonight that you do it not for the awards, you do it for the kids. And that is so very important and genuine that, on a bad day where in my job I can kind of walk away and get away. You guys can't, and yet you do it every day in and out. So recognizing the commitment, the passion, you truly touch the future. Without teachers, we'd be in a position, in a place that I would not even like to think about. So thank you so very much for your commitment and what you do day in, day out. And those who have retired, thank you for that level of commitment, and please enjoy your retirement and go fish, go sub, go do something fun.
I just want to take the time to acknowledge the teachers. If you don't get the thank yous enough. You don't get people to say how great you are, how much you appreciate it. So this is something that we should be telling our teachers every day, not just on special days. It's been a rough 2 years. We know how hard it is, but yet you still show up day after day, pouring your heart and soul into our kids, and we appreciate it. I thank you, and it's my honor to be on the school board to serve you guys.
Absolutely.
I want you guys to know this is one of my favorite things because teachers are what formed me, my life. Without teachers and some of the rough points as I grew up, I would not have been able to become the person I am. My second grade teacher used to brush the hay out of my hair so I could be presentable for my class. All of my teachers throughout life, I can name every single one of them from pre-K on, and I'm 66 years old. So I'm telling you, the impact of teachers on students, don't underestimate that. Don't underestimate the things that you may never get to see. And that's another thing I think teachers will tell you. They don't do this for the thank yous. They do that because they're designed to do this. They're designed to help and nurture these children. And they're just really, truly doing it because it is what is the right thing to do for our kids. So I just want to thank you from a personal point of view for and continuing to do what you can in difficult situations throughout this world right now. So we do appreciate you. We do want you to know that, and we will continue to help you along the way in every way that we can. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I apologize. I completely forgot to mention for all those who received an award, I know that they're a bit heavy and you would not want to break them. So we do have the boxes for the awards right around the corner in the back. So we will have those available for you whenever you're ready. With that being said, I'm by no means saying we're done. I'm just saying stay there whenever you're ready. Thank you.
So before we move to the next agenda item, I know, well, everybody's doing it anyway. Thank you guys for coming. I know a lot of you came to support families. If you need to leave, we understand. So don't feel bad about sneaking out.
I was so cold.
Great job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You may want to I know. Yeah, I think that
I was thinking the same thing.
you crunching up this is great.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. No, that means a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Everybody tells me that. But maybe you can find the area in the county where you can
You're gonna own your own business, aren't you?
explore.
Yeah, you're gonna own your own business, aren't you?
No.
Yeah.
You gotta listen to
You don't know
things
now.
that-
By the way, you got your number one ambassador over there.
Great job.
Thank you guys so much. You have a good night. You too.
Take care.
Thank you. Okay, I think everybody who wants to leave cleared out, so we'll move to the next agenda item, which is the consent item. Oh, gosh, where did Kelly go? That. Kelly, can you come back up to your seat, please? Thank you. I didn't even realize you left. Okay, consent item.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Okay, let's go through the acceptance or not. Okay. We have a $500 donation for Mr. Walsh. It is from the Air Force Association. So we have that. We have Eastwood Elementary received 120 boxes of various school supplies from Lippert. So Carly Mayer from, Lippert, thank you. And then we have $500 from Vaughn and Cynthia Nickel that will go towards the Boys Track Program. We have $1,000, donation that has been given to the Elkhart High School Unified Track Program from Terry and Peggy Trimmer. This donation will help to grow the progression of the Unified Track, and if you don't know anything about it, seek it out, it's absolutely amazing. $750 from NIPSCO for the Elklogix Robotics Extracurricular Club, that's excellent also. And this is great. 80 different Sizex die cuts. If anybody remembers the old die cuts, they're amazing. $1,500 towards those for Oslo from the Crosby family, Joe and Barbara. So thank you from our community again.
Thank you, Carol. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So new business, Dr. Shepherd.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am very pleased to present to you a new course that is going to be added to Elkhart High School in the School of Business. The course's name is Principles of Business Management, and this course will be the step 1 course in the new business pathway, and it will serve as a prerequisite for other courses that will be added in future years to make that pathway. Students will have a couple of options, actually, in a business pathway. Specifically, Principles of Business Management examines business ownership, organization principles and problems, management, control facilities administration, financial management, and development, all practices in business enterprises. The course will also emphasize the practice of appropriate use of technology to communicate and solve business problems and aid in decision-making. Attention in this class will be given to developing business communication, problem-solving, and decision-making skills using spreadsheets, word processing, data management, and presentation software. We're very pleased with this course because this is really moving us in the direction of our vision as we combined our schools and created our schools of study. So we're very pleased to share this new course with you this evening. And we look forward to the other new pathway courses that will be coming in the future. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Tony?
Good evening. On April 19th, bids were received for work at Munger Elementary School. As always, bids were reviewed by our design team and by our internal team for compliance with the plan specifications. At this time, the business office recommends award of a contract in the amount enumerated in your packet to Gibson Lewis of Mishawaka, Indiana, as the lowest and best, most responsive, and most responsible bidder. Along with the base bid, we recommend approval of alternates that you also have in front of you as they work, or as they conform to the budgetary constraints of the project.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion?
We haven't worked with them before?
Yes. Oh, Gibson Lewis?
Yeah.
Yes, they did the commissary, phase 2 of the high school, the career center, and years ago they worked on Riverview, Roosevelt, and Pinewood.
How many bids, did we receive?
We received 2 bids, both were well under budget, which was, I will be very honest with you, a complete surprise.
Great.
What's the, start date and completion date?
So the completion date is easier to answer. It is August 1st of next year. Tomorrow we meet with Gibson Lewis at Munger to determine what, if anything, they'll be able to accomplish in the next couple of months. There is a shortage of labor, and there are long lead times on different items, so we may not see much of anything done this summer. But we anticipated that, thus the completion date of next August 1st. Normally, this is a type of project that could be done in 4 to 6 months.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Kevin Scott?
Good evening.
Good evening.
The first item I have for you is a very minor change to board policy, and those are continuing materials. This is a cleanup of something that happened in place several years ago. For whatever reason, the language didn't correctly. So just to clean up with that, so Madam President, I would ask that we waive second reading and approve this minor tweak.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to the financial report. My pleasure to share that the account balances for March 2022 total $41,250,575.90. As you can see in the receipts and expenditure summary, several of our funds have improved their cash balance positions. Any questions related? Now I'll move on to the insurance report. It continues to reflect good news this year. You can see that our claim experience for March was $456,000. That's after the RX rebate. That's been a great program for us. You can see that on a year-to-date basis, so for 3 months, we're about $900,000 ahead of last year this time. So really good news on that. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, do we have any? Dobie?
Okay. I formally want to apologize for my emotions in the last 4 meetings that I've been at. For any emotions that might have upset you guys. We have to understand that you guys are humans too, but so are we, and we don't want our message to be misunderstood. We have so many changes we want to see, both with bullying and academically. This is the future of our children. I have never mentioned my relation other than Mary Daly, but I have 2 kids in this school about to be 3. And at this point, I'm terrified to send my 5-year-old because he's autistic and is going to be an easier target with bullying. My children have the opportunity to thrive. I, as their mother, am doing all that I can to make sure that happens. Your teachers are doing the same, and now I need you as a school board to get on the same page because this is our children's future and the future of you guys sitting right in front of me as well. We as a tribe, not groupies, were asked what we would have the superintendent say or do to prove that he is concerned about bullying and how would that look. For starters, we would need our school board members to be on the same level off the stage, be eye level with us, because it seems being on a stage gives the feeling of a higher power since we are sitting below you and you guys are up there. I didn't know we were going to be here, so that sounds silly. The feeling of this higher power, I feel, might be misrepresented sometimes, but I feel like work is being done and changes are being made. Words mean a whole lot, but when there's nothing being done, or not. But they also mean nothing when actions are not being made. Anyone can talk a lot of hot air, but the difference with this circumstance is we as a tribe are moving mountains behind every voice that speaks. Can you guys say the same? We hear a lot about money. What I want to see is counselors being put back in every school building, along with social workers, which needs to be considered since the repurposing at Hawthorne and my children's school alone will be having 100 students coming, plus new kindergartners coming in as well. Communication needs to improve all across the board. Parent involvement needs to be more prominent. I remember someone saying after the first board meeting I spoke at that they didn't hear a lot of recommendations be made to help implement change with bullying. regardless of us parents wanting to help and putting our ideas out there, aren't you the ones as school board members to generate and propose ideas? I mean, if it's supposed to be on the parents, then should we be out there sitting with you and not just down here? In reference as to what Daisy Davis said about us sitting on the sidelines and critiquing what people are doing who are actually engaged, Darcy, what you are looking at is the front line. We are engaged just as much, if not more than what you think. Without our children, without us as parents, you would not have the role you do. We may appear as groupies, but I know there are educators within our tribe, I myself included, am educated in early childhood education and human services. We may look different than you, but we are also educators. I am worried for the future of my children, their education, their well-being. When they are school, we need to work together. Let us help you help us in order to better understand our children and our thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Jessica, Yost,
I'm Jesse Yost. I have one kid in the school district. I again am here due to bullying within our school, lack of funds, and communication. First, I'd like to acknowledge and thank the staff who have implemented different procedures within the classroom to help minimize and report bullying, and those of the schools choosing to involve their social workers. The community talks, and we are hearing some of the positive acts from within. Let's keep those a constant. On that note, let me mention the bully reporting site, Sprigo. While it has the right idea, it needs worked over to better serve us and should be a main topic at the May 12th gathering. Last board meeting, April 12th, it was referenced by the president that we are working. I am here to give it my all and work together, but I'm not here to do your six-figure job. I've spent unpaid hours a day scratching my brain for solutions and knowledge to even compete in this field of discussion. I expect that you are increasing your own knowledge by researching peer-reviewed studies from outside districts or even further other states on how to implement a safe learning and teaching environment. Thanks to some idea conversations, my proposal for today is for you all to gather a group of volunteer committee members from around the district to have meetings with just this committee and the board. These meetings can be held on a quarterly basis. As parents, we can help you see the inside without looking at fake test numbers, while also helping to spread the word of the board to the community when big events like permanent school closures happen. Being volunteers and not employees of ECS, the reps chosen can also be used to help host events around the community to collect donations for ECS. They can host their own separate meetings prior to the formal joint meeting where we can strategize and discuss those events. Then we can present it to you all at the committee board meeting. Again, I cannot stress this enough. It takes all of us on every level, from lower middle class to those chosen to represent us, to make change. I will be there May 12th to talk more about ideas I have presented, including curriculum change, better utilizing our social workers, and gathering a committee. I look forward to speaking with you all then and at any events that will occur after May 12th.
thank you. Jessica,
Hi, my name is Jessica Owings. I'm a concerned mother of two boys in Elkhart Community Schools. I'm addressing the board tonight concerning the anti-bullying public workshop on May 12th and communication. I would like to start with a few questions and end with a few ideas. What was the reason for the date change for the anti-bullying public workshop on May 5th, from May 5th to May 12th? How was the date change knowledge made available to the public, and when was it made public after the decision was made? How is the meeting being promoted to parents, teachers, staff, and the community? How can we make the meeting details more accessible to all members of the community to get maximum participation? Some suggestions I would like to offer to help get the information out. We can help get the information about the anti-bullying workshop out so that there is a better turnout and maximum questions and solutions are as following. As school district administration send emails to all parents, teachers, and staff. We really want the teachers and the staff to be present for this anti-bullying. They could give us more insight that some of the parents may not have. We have reminders on Seesaw or whatever app the teachers are using to communicate with parents. Keep us informed. We have busy lives. I know you guys do too, but reminders help a lot, and we really do want a big turnout. Send flyers home with all the students for the people that do not check online as much as they should. Take advantage of all social media platforms, more than just the Elkhart Community Schools website. Let's get our community involved. We should get more parents involved in PTOs, promote these opportunities more. If more parents knew how much teachers, staff, and children are suffering, they would be more encouraged to get involved. I know I was. The schools and parents are really good at blaming each other for the things that go wrong, and that is why we need to work together and open more lines of communication. Communication is key, and we are all failing. Thank you. Oh, and congratulations to all the teachers here.
Rebecca?
I didn't come quite as prepared as they did. I'm here about the transportation. I have called at least, I'm a parent of 2 children in a school system and 2 different schools. My elementary daughter, her bus has been coming at least on average of 20 minutes late, where I have called 6 times. It's happened more than 6 times, but I didn't call every time I've taken them. This morning, I waited about 10 minutes, the bus was late, and I decided to take my daughter and the 2 other children that were waiting in the neighborhood to school. I was told that a bus driver walked out today. I get told that driver's not showing up. We can't call parents, there's not enough time. I've been told that, that there's no app available. I've been told that there's an app available that we have on hand, but it's not being utilized. I'd like to know why that's not being utilized. I feel like there's lost time in the classroom. The children who need to be there on time need to have breakfast. They might go home and miss school altogether because they didn't know. They have no concept of time because they're younger. It's dark. There's inclement weather. There are, there's predators out there. Parents leave for work. They leave their children. They don't always know. The 2 people that I let know this morning that took their kids to school, they were not aware until I told them. The children, 31 minutes late this morning, the bus finally came. Only because the neighbor told me. I was told by Dr. Thalheimer this morning that the reason is because Concord is recruiting our drivers. I would like to know why our drivers are leaving. Just because of recruiting somewhere else, other people do that. My business does that to other employers, employees. What is happening? I've heard that there are individuals who are driving the drivers away. Inexperience, don't know how to work with them, lack of management skills. I don't want to blame anybody, but what I want is for my child to not be left behind and the other children not be left behind. Is there an app to be used? Why are we not using it? That's all I'm asking. Let me just review this. It's a Track My Bus app is what I was told it was called. I lose time at work. I make a phone call. I feel like my phone call was vetted this morning, and then 2 minutes later, after I got to work late, 45 minutes late, I get a phone call back. So I lose time at work. I have things at work to do. I have my family to provide for. So, these kids, if they don't get to school, then you guys don't have a job to do either, just like they were saying. So that's the first thing we need to do is work on getting kids to school, on time and letting the parents know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Okay, Dr. Carter, do you have anything?
I would like to say and add my congratulations to the Teacher of the Year, and I would also like to thank Maggie and her staff for all the work that they did on compiling the scores and the information and vetting all the candidates and running that process. They did a fantastic job. In just sharing some information that we'll be sharing in a video that we'll be putting out, the letters regarding the placement of the Hawthorne students and other students who are being allocated to different buildings in the redistricting process. Those letters will be going out later this week, notifying those from the district level, and then there will be letters from the school buildings following that up with an introduction from the building level, building principal, and contact information there, so that students will know before we get to the month of May where they will be attending school. So that process is in place. Also, by the end of this week, our employees, teachers will be reallocated to those other buildings, have made their requests, and those are being honored, and staff members will know by the end of this week where they are going as well. So those are where we are in that process in order to do that. And then I think that was everything I need to share.
Sarita, do you mind coming up, sharing the details about the rally and the live event on Thursday? Please and thank you.
So, I did have the pleasure of connecting with, Rio Rainbow Group, which is a beautiful group, out of sadness. They are creating something that is everlasting. So, I am looking forward to working with, to fill up that auditorium to get all eyes on board. So the reason we want to bring parents together is because we realize that our technology natives that are using cyberbullying and things like that, that's beyond what the technology immigrants knew. And so we know now that cyberbullying has no time or space. It's everywhere. Even a 5-year-old incident could seem like a new one once it resurfaces on social media. And so that's what happens. And so that's almost like bullying on steroids. So we do want to bring all the parents together. We're going to have the General Assembly that will go over all of the national numbers, because we are not alone in Elkhart. So we do need to look at the national numbers and what that means to us locally, and listen to our parents to get the advice. And so we're going to take down the information from the focus group and bring it back to the way that we facilitate our programs in school. So simultaneously, though, our great principals have gotten together and gone over some information. So we are using the plan that we have in place, but we are improving the plan with parent engagement. And so that is what will happen initially on May 12th. We changed it from the 5th out of respect for the Latinx community, because it's people in Maya. And so we do want to make sure that we think of all communities. And so that was the change. So I did get to speak with these young ladies earlier. We had a great conversation. We're going to, sure up the plan, the district plan.
What's the time and location? Can you say the date, time,
Yes,
and location?
okay, so it's May 12th at 6 p.m. from 6 to 7. It's General Assembly, where we'll be providing information. From 7 to 8, we're breaking up into focus groups where we have specific questions that we're going to gather today. And then we'll decide from there, how we will continue to have parental engagement.
At the freshman division. Oh.
At the freshman division. Yeah, so we did change it to the freshman. Yes.
I just was wondering how you guys were gonna pose where are you getting those questions from that you're gonna post that day?
So we're gonna ask general questions. Some people are gonna just tell their story. They're gonna say, this is what happened. But we're gonna ask general questions like, what do you think a safe school looks like? Now, if you're saying to me that you volunteered to get together prior to it, we can get together and engage the group in coming up with a question. That would be great.
So on Thursday,
Yes.
we're having a live discussion to promote the rally. It will be live streamed on the district's YouTube channel. So I will be moderating that conversation. We'll have Todd Kelly, which is the
District behavior.
We'll have Kat, we'll have Triple P, and we'll have a social worker. So it'll kind of give you a kind of a taste of what information will be shared on the rally. And so again, that live event is this Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30, and it'll be live streamed on the district YouTube page.
So that's the general information. We are taking under advisement the things that you said about, district increments. So we'll also rely on you to help us, get it out there. But our PR department, they are aware, and they will start the process. We start the process, and we'll start rolling it out.
Are the schools on board?
Absolutely.
Are they willing to hand out flyers and contact teachers, or?
So, like you said, we can put it on Seesaw where, students parents, but our principals will be on board if we, provide like 5x7 flyers. We probably have to do it black and white, for common reasons, but yeah, we can get that information. Okay.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the board have any comments?
Yeah, I have a couple comments. About the transportation app, is it possible that in the next board session or the one following that, we could actually address that issue, whether there for real is an app or there is no app, and get that, issue decided and then maybe move forward from there? Oh, you don't have to address it
Well, I
right
can
now.
answer right now.
Okay.
There is no app at this time. We're working on one to have in place going. So what we have found this year with the shortage of drivers and shortage of staff is that we need it now more than ever. There are times where there's one person in the office covering because everyone else is out driving. I've actually gone over there and helped just field phone calls. So as frustrating as it is for parents, I can tell you that for me, it's just, I don't know what to say. It's unacceptable that we cannot do a better job at this time. So this is one way that we have this app, and I've had personal experience with this app. So we need to have the app up and running, and I just texted John and Jason and said it has to be up and running.
Okay, good.
Sure, it will be right on.
Thank you. And then also, I have one more, I have to follow my sword here and take responsibility for the fact that we ended up in the auditorium, for the last two meetings. And the reason for that was because over the last 10 years, we have had some meetings of significant size. And as you can see here tonight, how hot, how crowded it was, we had people standing. And what I was trying to do was make people as comfortable as possible. And that was my doing, all right? Other people executed it, but it was my suggestion though, so I take responsibility for that. So, but thank you for bringing, and also I hated being under the lights too. I have sunburns now. Thank you. You got it.
Well, and also, I want to compliment you guys who are going from complete raw emotion and frustration and anger and then re-challenging it, channeling it back to where we need to be. Constructive conversation that's still built on emotion. So watching that transition, feeling it with you, experiencing it was good for all of us to see how it goes. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for taking the opportunity to recognize that, redirect it, come back with, the information that you have, that you desire, that you need, to be able to work together to make a difference. Because you're right, your voice is loud and amazing, but directed in the right way is powerful. So kudos to taking all of that and putting it in this direction. And I look forward to watching you guys grow and work more with the school and the administration. So, welcome.
Any other comments? All right, meeting adjourned.
Yeah.
We'll stay in here for the next executive session.